Well, hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Ashmat Kumar, and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. A late sell-off on the Lal Street takes the Nifty below 21,200. Sensex loses over 900 points. Mid-cap index loses nearly 1,500 points in what was the biggest single-day fall in a year. A day of block deals on the Lal Street. 25 crore shares worth nearly 10,000 crore rupees exchanged hands. Astral, Nippon AMC, Shriram Pistons, Embassy Wright and Tips Industries see large trades. RBI bars lenders from having any exposure to alternate investment funds that count their borrowers as clients. The move will scuttle any evergreening of loans via the AIF route. NBFC stocks with AIF exposure take a knock. Ola Eyes a valuation of over $7 billion as it gears up to file the IPO papers this week. Experts question the valuation after Ola raised funds 2 months ago, valuing the company at $5.4 billion. NDA Rajya Sabha MP stand in protest during question hour after a video of TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee mimicking the Vice President Dhankar went viral. President Murmu tweets that she was dismayed over his humiliation. The Congress says that raising the mimicry issue is a desperate attempt to divert attention away from the unprecedented suspension of MPs. Government likely to restructure its bad bank as NPAs continues to rise. Finance Ministry to meet public sector banks as well as National Asset Reconstruction Company this Friday, which will review the bad bank's functioning, long pending cases and accounts under IBC. Prime Minister Modi says government is ready to look into the allegations made by US authorities over the foiled assassination attempt on a Sikh separatist on US soil. Prime Minister says it is not appropriate to link a few incidents with diplomatic relations between both countries in an interview with the Financial Times. Colorado Supreme Court disqualifies U.S. presidential hopeful Donald Trump from the state's primary ballot for his role in the U.S. Capitol attack. Invokes a rarely used disqualification clause. However, Trump can appeal against this decision in the country's Supreme Court till the 4th of Jan. Well, let's begin with a quick look at the day's market action. A late sell-off on the Lal Street caught the bulls by surprise. The Sensex lost over 900 points to move closer to the 70,000 mark. The Nifty, meanwhile, lost over 300 points, falling below the 21,200 mark. Bank stocks also declined in trade, but the mid-caps took it on the chin. The mid-cap index posted the biggest single-day fall in a year, losing nearly 1,500 points. Sonia Shenoy is joining us now with a quick wrap of the day's market action. Sonia.
Well, today was quite a disappointing day for the markets. We saw a steep sell-off in late trade. There was a profit booking after a big rally that the market saw in the last many weeks and months. The Nifty ended down over 300 points, which is a cut of about 1.5%. The Bank Nifty was down about 500 points today, but the bigger gash came in the broader market. So the mid-cap index was down about 3% as well. Remember, this is a pullback after a big surge that the market has seen. Let's not forget the Nifty has gained over 2,500 points in the last 6 months. So some amount of pullback or giving back was, I guess, expected by the market. FI has also become inactive in the last 2 weeks of the year. So that's something to keep in mind. But a big sell-off is what we saw by the end of trade today.
Well, stationery maker DOM saw a stellar listing. The share listed at 1,400 rupees, marking a premium of 77% to its IPO price. The company was also the 4th most subscribed Indian IPO this year, on the back of strong interest from qualified institutional buyers. Meanwhile, shares of India Shelter Finance Corporation fell about 10% after listing at a premium on the Dalal Street. However, the microfinance company's share price remained 12% higher than its IPO price. The housing finance company's 1,200 crore rupee IPO was subscribed over 38 times last week. Well, speaking of the Lal Street, it was a day of block deals. 25 crore shares worth nearly 10,000 crore rupees exchanged hands. Astral, Nippon AMC, Shriram Pistons, Embassy, Wright and Tips Industries saw large trades. Hormaz Fatakia is joining us now with more details. Hormaz, take us through the big numbers.
It's almost prophetic, right? Considering the block deals that we saw this morning, and all these companies that executed these transactions would be patting themselves on the back, considering the fall that we saw in the market in the second half of the day. And I'll take you through all of these block deals, starting off with Astral. For almost 50 lakh shares exchanged hands there. That was 1.75% of the total equity, transaction value of close to 900 crore rupees. In fact, CNBC-TV18 had reported about this on Tuesday, that the promoters are planning to sell around 2 to 3% stake in a transaction valued at around 1,000 to 1,500 crore rupees. Now, Shriram Pistons was the other one, 39 lakh shares, almost 9% equity there. Shares changing hands at around 1,100 rupees a piece. So that was another one. Embassy REITs is the big one there, 22 crore shares, almost 23.5% of the total equity that changed hands in a transaction value of around 7,150 crores. And CNBC TV18 had reported about this on Tuesday, that Blackstone is planning a clean-out trade by selling that remaining 23.5% stake in Embassy REITs. Nippon AMC was the fourth one, 2.86% equity, 762 crore was the transaction value. And CNBC TV18 had reported about it on Tuesday as well, that IndusInd Bank was planning to sell this stake as a clean-out trade as well. Tips Industries was the one, almost 7% equity there, or transaction value of close to 300 crores. The management did confirm to CNBC TV18 that the promoters indeed were the sellers in this transaction, and they plan to utilize these proceeds for the film production business, and they do not plan to sell any further stake in the company as of yet. And lastly, Paytm, where almost 1 crore shares had changed hands, almost 1.5% of the total equity in a transaction valued at close to 625 crore rupees. So block deals galore, all of them took place in the morning, and the companies who sold these stakes would surely be having a happy moment for sure.
Right, Hormaz, thanks a lot for that quick wrap of all the block deal action that we saw today. Meanwhile, Varun Beverages bucked the trend amid a sell-off in the market. Shares of PepsiCo's largest franchise bottler briefly hit a record high in trade today. Yesterday, the company announced it was acquiring South African bottler, the beverage company, for over 1,300 crore rupees. Bevco has franchise rights from Pepsi for South Africa and 2 more African countries. On to the telecom space now. Reliance Jio added nearly 35 lakh subscribers in September. This is a rise of 7% from August. Bharti Airtel also added over 13 lakh users. Meanwhile, Vodafone Idea continued to bleed users. The cash-strapped telecom operator lost over 7.5 lakh customers in September. Life insurance companies will be sending their feedback to the insurance regulator on its proposal suggesting higher surrender value to policyholders. Sources tell CNBC TV18 that insurance companies met yesterday to discuss IRDAI's consultation paper. We learned that insurance players are aligned with the IRDAI's thought of giving better surrender value to policyholders. However, they also feel that the proposal will increase surrenders in the industry and could create an asset-liability mismatch. And Nasara Technologies has announced partnership with 4 Indian gaming studios for publishing 5 games. The games include Gravity Shooter and World Cricket League. Nasara Tech will provide financial investment and support on user acquisition. This initiative is a part of the firm's new publishing division. They hope to publish 20 games in the next 12 to 18 months. An IT major, HCL Tech, has reported a ransomware attack in an isolated cloud environment linked to one of its projects. The company said that no impact has been observed on the overall network so far and that a detailed investigation is currently underway. The stock fell over 3% in trade today. Meanwhile, Ola Electric is all set to file its papers for its initial public offering this week. We learned from sources that the company is looking to raise about $700 million at a valuation of $7 to $8 billion. Now, that's quite a jump from the valuation that the company was assigned at its last round of fundraising. Parishad Luthra is joining us now with more details. Parishad, what kind of jump are we talking about, and how is the company going to justify these numbers?
Well, Ola Electric was supposed to file an IPO by the 20th of December. This is what we had been told by our sources. We now learned that the paperwork is still on and it might take another 2 days possibly for the company to file that IPO. So it could be anytime this week is what we're learning. Having said that, in April 2022, after the Series D funding, the company was valued at $4.6 billion. This is as per Traction. Then in 2023, in October, the company had raised 3,200 crore rupees from SBI and Temasek through a mix of equity and debt. At that time, they were valued at around $5 or $5.4 billion. Now, Ola is likely to seek $700 million from the market at a valuation of $7 to $8 billion. Many market experts are asking questions as to what justifies this jump in a matter of 3 months. This is also because of several after-sales issues that Ola customers have been facing, high attrition at the leadership at Ola Electric. Many investors, many market experts also believe that the EV business currently is not a monopoly, and older OEMs like TVS and Bajaj have shown agility and strong growth in the last few months. And investors would judge the viability of Ola Electric's car plan as the product is yet to be launched. And many believe that electric cars are a whole different ballgame. At the same time, Ola will have to showcase the ability to launch viable products across segments to justify this valuation of $7 to $8 billion. This is what our sources are telling us in the industry. This is a company where 37% stake is owned by Bhavish Aggarwal, 23.6% is owned by SoftBank, and Tiger Global has 6.3% stake, and Alpha Wave Global and Matrix Partners are the other major investors. All eyes on this IPO, very important for the EV industry.
Right, Parishad, thanks a lot for that update. Now, SpiceJet has spelled out a detailed plan on how it will utilize the 2,240 crore rupees it is raising from investors. The airline has allocated over 500 crores towards statutory payments. 400 crores have been planned towards payment of past dues to creditors. The airline says it will spend 500 crores on reviving grounded fleet and acquiring new planes, while 200 crores will be spent on jet fuel. Further, the airline has kept 550 crore rupees for general corporate purposes, and nearly 80 crores will be spent towards salary payments to employees. Staying with the aviation space, Air India has borrowed $120 million from Japan's Sumitomo Mitsui Bank Corporation. This is partly to finance its purchase of an A350-900 aircraft from Airbus, which was delivered this October. The Tata Group airline had announced plans to buy 470 aircraft from Boeing and Airbus earlier this year. SMBC said that the transaction was done at Gift City, which help from Air India subsidiary AIF Fleet Services. Now, Digi Yatra, an initiative by the government to simplify check-in processes at airports, has been in focus over data security concerns. The app uses biometric technology like facial recognition for check-in without the need for a physical document. The government has told CNBC-TV18 that it is not planning to make Digi Yatra mandatory and that the data is cleaned within 24 hours of passengers' departure. Danish Anand now joins us with more details. Danish.
After concerns were raised about the safety of passenger data collected by Digi Yatra, sources in the Ministry of Civil Aviation have exclusively told CNBC-TV18 that there is no central storage of passenger data and the data is purged after 24 hours from the departure time. There is no central storage of passengers' personally identifiable information or the PII data in the Digi Yatra app, which uses a facial recognition technology. All the passenger data is encrypted and stored in the passenger's smartphone wallet. The data is shared only for a limited time with the origin airport where the passenger ID needs to be validated. Further, CNBC-TV18 was also informed that the Digi Yatra app is already STQC certified and periodic audits or certification is also being conducted by certain impaneled agencies and the STQC. Moreover, the Union government has no plans to make Digi Yatra mandatory, and currently using Digi Yatra is not mandatory at the airports wherever it is present. However, it is only advisable to the passengers for a faster and smooth check-in experience. Currently, Digi Yatra is enabled in 5 airports, and last week, the Civil Aviation Minister also said that Digi Yatra will be expanded to 25 airports in 2024 in 2 different phases.
Right, Danish, thanks a lot for that. Now, in a bid to improve recovery of stressed assets, the government is looking to review the functioning of the National Asset Reconstruction Company, or the BAD Bank. Out of 6.4 lakh crore rupees worth of bad loans in FY23, only 94,000 crore rupees were recovered, which is just 15% of the total stressed assets. Sapna Das is joining us now with more details on the government's plans. Sapna.
Well, the overall focus is on the recovery of bad loans, as you've rightly pointed out, and two particular verticals will be looked at, in great detail. One, of course, is the functioning of the NARCL, and the other would be the long-term pending cases for resolution under IBC and cases which have got delayed in terms of their admission for the insolvency process to actually go forward. Now, in terms of NARCL, this announcement had come with so much of expectation and hope. But if you look at the data that has been shared by the Finance Ministry with the Parliament, it's a very clear indication that it's a bit of a no-show, so to speak, as of now. Hardly around 12,000 odd crores worth of debt has been given over by PSBs, by the lenders, to the bad bank, though of course the number was supposed to be somewhere around 2 lakh odd crore worth of fully provisioned NPAs, which was supposed to be transferred by FY22. So that's one big miss. So here it may be possible that the government would think about some kind of restructuring as far as the bad bank is concerned. Now, there are no details as of now. There is a meeting that the government will be holding with the public sector banks, NARCL management, SBI management this week on Friday sometime. So we'll know more on that. But this is a serious thought process which is on in government circles right now. Second, of course, in terms of IBC, I've just mentioned, and let's look at some of the data. So the worry point, of course, the worry points are not extremely high at the moment, in the sense the GNPA ratio, everything has come down. The degree of slippages has also come down. But the fact remains that during FY19 to FY23, just in a 5-year period, over 7 lakh crore worth of loans have been written off by public sector banks alone. So they are fully provisioned but written off, and they have to be recovered. Similarly, if you look at the, the backlog of cases in all the recovery channels like your DRT or SAFESI, IBC, your Lok Adalats, it's a big number. Over 85 lakh cases are pending in terms of recovery, and the amount there is around 6.5 lakh odd crores. That amount must have come down because this is all data that pertains as of now to FY23. Out of that, hardly 94,000 crores worth of recovery happened in the previous financial year. So these are the big points on which the government wants to focus on, and definitely going forward, we'll have to see, particularly on NARCL, what the government does going forward.
Right, Sapna, thanks a lot for that. We'll keep coming back to you for more on this developing story. With that, it's time now for a very short break. But coming up, NDA Rajya Sabha MPs stand in protest during question hour after a video of TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee mimicking the Vice President Dhankar went viral. President Murmu tweets that she was dismayed over his humiliation. That and more when we come back. Welcome back. On to the big political story now that we're tracking. A viral video of TMC MP Kalyan Banerjee mimicking the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar caused an uproar in the Parliament. Rajya Sabha MPs from the BJP as well as its allies staged a protest over the video by standing during question hour. President Draupadi Murmu also reacted to the mimicry. She said that she was dismayed over his humiliation. Meanwhile, MPs from the Congress and other opposition parties continued their protest over the suspension of more than 140 members from the Parliament. The Congress said that raising the mimicry issue was just a desperate attempt from the ruling government to divert attention away from the unprecedented suspension. 2 more Lok Sabha MPs, meanwhile, were suspended addressing a Congress parliamentary party meeting. Sonia Gandhi also accused the government of strangulating democracy. In the absence of a large number of MPs, the Lok Sabha took up 3 bills to replace the British-era criminal laws for consideration. Addressing the House, Home Minister Amit Shah said that the bill will ensure that victim-centric justice is delivered. He added that those who harm the country will not be spared.
जगदीप धनखड़ की कितनी बेइज्जती करो मुझे कोई चिंता नहीं है। भारत के उपराष्ट्रपति की, किसान समाज की, मेरे वर्ग की मैं पूरी आहुति दे दूंगा हवन में। मैं खुद की परवाह नहीं करता। मेरी बेइज्जती कोई करता है मैं सहन करता हूं, खून की घूंट पीता हूं, पर मैं ये बर्दाश्त कभी नहीं करूंगा कि मेरे पद की गरिमा मैं सुरक्षित नहीं रख पाया। इस सदन की गरिमा को सुरक्षित रखना मेरा काम है।
भारतीयता, भारतीय संविधान और भारत की जनता का चिंता करने वाले बहुत आमूलचूर परिवर्तन लेकर मैं आया हूं। सजा का दर बढ़ाने के लिए हमने ढेर सारे प्रावधान इसके अंदर करे हैं, जिससे सजा करने का प्रतिशत बढ़ेगा। साइबर क्राइम के लिए भी ढेर सारी प्रोविजंस किए हैं। टेक्नोलॉजी के नए नए इनोवेशन क्या हो सकते हैं, इसकी कल्पना कर अभी से इसकी कानूनी वैधता के लिए ढेर सारे प्रोविजन किए हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has for the first time addressed the allegations of an Indian assassination plot against Khalistani separatist Gurpantwant Singh Pannu in the United States. Speaking to the Financial Times, the Prime Minister said, and I quote, "If a citizen of ours has done anything good or bad, we are ready to look into it." End of quote. He added that India is committed to the rule of law. The Prime Minister also went on to say that few incidents will not derail ties with the US, as it is a mature and stable relationship. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC TV18. The news and updates will continue on the other side.
CNBC TV18 embarks